the heart of Ashford County, where rolling hills meet golden rivers, the village of Greystone lay in quiet anticipation. The villagers had never expected the grandeur of the city to arrive in their midst, yet today the Duke of Ashford, the young and notoriously proud Lord Alexander Ravenscroft, would make his presence known. Alexander was the kind of man whose reputation preceded him. Sharp-tongued, sharp-witted, moving through society like a storm, leaving whispers of awe and envy in his wake. That he had chosen to visit Greystone, a village barely noted on most maps, puzzled the villagers. The morning sun glinted off the polished wheels of his carriage as it rolled into the dusty square. Children scattered, dogs barked, and shopkeepers hurried to shutter their stalls, unsure if this was an honor or a prelude to calamity. Alexander stepped out, impeccably dressed, every movement precise. His gaze cold yet discerning as it swept over the humble thatched roofs and the curious faces of the villagers. Among them was a woman who drew his attention immediately, not because of wealth or status, but because of the quiet confidence she carried. She was Miss Eliza Hawthorne, the village schoolteacher, young and slender, eyes holding stories untold, her modest attire contrasting sharply with her poise. While others bowed or curtsied, she merely straightened her spine and watched, unreadable. Alexander approached her with a condescending smile, his voice dripping with amusement. "Ah, the village teacher," he said. "I presume you instruct these children in the fine art of sweeping the floor or counting their coins?" Nervous laughter rippled through the villagers, some stifled, others shaking their heads, anticipating humiliation. But Eliza's response was calm and measured. "My lessons are in reading, writing, arithmetic, and the virtues of honesty and courage. Perhaps, Your Grace, you would like a demonstration?" The Duke's brow arched. Few had dared speak to him like this, and fewer without trembling. Yet his pride required amusement. "A demonstration, you say? Very well. Show me why I should take your teachings seriously." Eliza gathered the children into a circle, guiding them through lessons of letters and numbers, observation, memory, and reasoning. The children repeated after her with precision, their understanding shining in their eager eyes. Alexander watched, his usual smirk softening into an involuntary smile. Yet when the lesson ended, his sharp tongue returned. "Impressive," he said, tinged with mockery. "I must admit, I have never seen children so disciplined. But tell me, Miss Hawthorne, do you teach them to fend off those who mock them, or shall I offer my services as tutor in resilience?" Eliza met his gaze unwaveringly. "The greatest lessons are not learned from fear of ridicule, Your Grace, but from understanding one's own strength." For the first time in years, Alexander paused. There was something in her words, a subtle depth, a quiet authority, that made him question the ease with which he judged others. As the day progressed, the Duke toured the village under Eliza's guidance. She showed him the schoolhouse, the market, and the modest homes of the villagers. Everywhere they went, Alexander's observations were sharp, his commentary cutting, yet tinged with intrigue. He mocked and teased, yet could not deny a growing admiration for the teacher who refused to bend or flinch. By midday, a small crowd had gathered. Alexander, ever the showman, challenged the children to a test of wit and agility, certain that his cunning would impress the villagers and reveal the teacher's limits. Yet the children excelled under Eliza's guidance, solving puzzles and demonstrating teamwork that astonished him. Laughter and applause erupted, and Alexander felt a pang of genuine respect. Before leaving the village for the evening, he addressed the crowd. "You have a remarkable teacher here," he admitted softly. "It seems Greystone may have more to offer than I first imagined." Eliza inclined her head subtly, her secretive smile hinting she knew far more than she revealed. As the Duke's carriage rolled away, Alexander's mind whirled with questions he could neither name nor dismiss. Who was this woman? How did she command such respect? And why did her presence unsettle him more than any rival ever had? If you're enjoying this tale of pride, courage, and secrets, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Duke's Tales by Vic. You won't want to miss what happens when the Duke returns to uncover the truth about Miss Hawthorne. After his departure, Alexander could not shake the image of Eliza Hawthorne from his mind. That evening, as the golden light of sunset bathed Ashford County, he found himself returning to Greystone under the guise of curiosity, but driven by an unspoken compulsion to know more about the village schoolteacher who had so effortlessly defied him. The streets were quieter now, the marketplace empty, yet the air seemed charged with a subtle tension, as though the village itself held its breath in anticipation of what was to come. Alexander alighted from his carriage with the same deliberate precision that had marked his arrival, his eyes scanning for the figure who had unsettled him more than any rival ever had. There she was, arranging books and papers on a small wooden desk outside the schoolhouse, her movements deliberate and calm. The children were gone, but her presence was commanding, her quiet authority palpable. "Miss Hawthorne," Alexander said, his voice softer than before, though still edged with curiosity. "I could not help but return. There are questions that demand answers." Eliza looked up, her eyes meeting his with a serene confidence that unsettled him. "Questions are only meaningful when one is ready for the answers," she replied, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. Alexander stepped closer, his pride and fascination battling for dominance. "I observed your lessons today," he said, "and I must confess, I underestimated you. These children respond to you in ways I cannot command, in ways I cannot predict. How is it that a woman of humble origin wields such influence?" Eliza's gaze softened, yet her expression remained inscrutable. "Influence is not born from status, Your Grace," she said. "It grows from understanding, patience, and the courage to stand firm when tested. These are lessons I impart, not for pride or recognition, but for those who will carry them forward." Alexander's mind raced, the subtle weight of her words pressing on him in a way he had not experienced before. The more he listened, the more he realized that her strength was not in defiance alone, but in knowledge carefully guarded and wielded with intention. Intrigued beyond measure, he pressed further. "And what secrets do you keep, Miss Hawthorne? Surely one such as yourself must hold wisdom beyond these village walls. Knowledge that could rival anything I have encountered in court or city." Eliza regarded him silently for a long moment, the hint of a secret smile crossing her lips. "Secrets," she said softly, "are like seeds. They reveal themselves only when the time is right, and to those who are prepared to receive them." Alexander felt a thrill of anticipation. An unfamiliar respect mingled with the frustration of curiosity unfulfilled. He realized that the quiet teacher he had mocked was a puzzle, one that defied his usual measures of power, wealth, and social standing. Determined to uncover the truth, he offered a tentative proposal. "Then perhaps, Miss Hawthorne, you would allow me to learn from you, to understand what it is that makes your lessons resonate so deeply, what it is you guard so carefully." Eliza inclined her head slightly, acknowledging the request without giving away her thoughts. "Learning requires humility, Your Grace," she said. "Are you prepared to set aside pride for knowledge?" Alexander hesitated only a moment before nodding. The challenge was unlike any he had faced, and yet the thrill of it invigorated him. For the next several hours, the Duke and the teacher walked through the village paths, visiting the homes of villagers, discussing matters of strategy, observation, and human character. Everywhere they went, Alexander found himself challenged, corrected, and yet strangely enlightened. By nightfall, he understood that the village schoolteacher was not merely a custodian of children's education, but a keeper of wisdom and secrets that had the power to reshape his understanding of the world. As he finally prepared to leave, he looked back at Eliza, a question unspoken lingering in the space between them. She returned his gaze, her enigmatic smile hinting that she knew the impact she had made. Alexander stepped into his carriage, the soft night air carrying the echo of her words and the promise of revelations yet to come. If you're captivated by this unfolding tale and want to discover the secrets that Miss Hawthorne holds, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because what happens next will change everything you thought you knew about the Duke and the village.
Wow, what a journey so far. The Duke came into the village full of pride and mockery, yet Miss Eliza Hawthorne has shown us all that strength and wisdom can come from the most unexpected places. It's incredible how courage and humility can change even the proudest heart. I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from right now? Drop your location in the comments and let's see how far this story is reaching. And if this story has captured your imagination, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the secrets that are about to be revealed.
The following morning, the village of Greystone awoke to a quiet tension that even the chirping of birds could not mask. Alexander returned once more, his curiosity now tempered with a rare sense of caution, aware that Miss Eliza Hawthorne held a secret he could neither anticipate nor control. The schoolhouse stood at the edge of the square, modest and unassuming, yet it seemed to radiate an invisible authority as he approached. Eliza greeted him with a calm nod, her eyes reflecting both recognition and the unspoken understanding that the time had come. "You have returned," she said softly, "and you have come far, not just in distance but in thought. Are you ready to see what you sought?" Alexander swallowed the rising anticipation. "I am," he said, though a part of him feared what revelation might await. Eliza led him inside the schoolhouse, where a simple chest lay beneath the teacher's desk, its surface worn with age. "This," she explained, "is the legacy of knowledge my family has safeguarded for generations. What you see before you is not merely books or records, but the accumulation of understanding, strategy, and insight that can shape destinies. I have chosen to share this with those who are prepared to learn, not those who are here merely to mock or judge." Alexander stepped closer, his fingers hovering over the chest, feeling the weight of history in the worn wood and iron hinges. The Duke, who had conquered courts and commanded armies, felt a humility he had never known. "Why me?" he asked, voice low. "Why reveal this to someone who has only just crossed your path?" Eliza's smile was gentle but knowing. "Because courage and curiosity, when tempered by respect and patience, are the truest signs of readiness. You mocked, you questioned, and yet you returned with humility. That is why you may now see what others cannot." With a quiet motion, she opened the chest, revealing manuscripts, letters, and artifacts of knowledge that spoke of leadership, morality, and the subtle art of understanding human nature. Alexander's eyes widened as he absorbed the treasures before him, realizing that the power he had wielded in courts and cities was but a fraction of what lay in the hands of those who understood the deeper truths of life. For hours, She guided him through the lessons, not of children or villagers, but of people, politics, and the hidden threads that connect deeds and destiny. Each revelation reshaped his understanding of his own life, his responsibilities, and the judgments he had made so lightly. As dusk fell, the village square glimmered under the fading sun, and Alexander finally stood to leave. He looked at Eliza with newfound respect, a humility rare for a man of his stature. "I see now," he said, "that wisdom does not always reside in titles, lands, or gold, but in hearts that are steadfast and minds that are disciplined." Eliza inclined her head, a soft smile hinting at the satisfaction of a lesson well imparted. "Use it wisely," she said, "and remember, true strength lies in the choices made quietly, when no one watches." As the Duke rode away, the lessons of the day etched deeply into his mind. He knew that nothing in Greystone would ever be the same again. For him, for the villagers, and for the teacher who had revealed a secret greater than wealth, rank, or power. If you've been captivated by the Duke's journey and want to witness the unfolding of his transformation and the secrets that shaped it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because the story of courage, wisdom, and revelation is only beginning.
And just like that, the Duke's journey has transformed him forever. He arrived mocking, curious, and proud, and now he leaves with lessons that only a teacher like Eliza Hawthorne could impart. This story reminds us that true power isn't in titles, wealth, or status. It's in understanding, patience, and the courage to act wisely. I'd love to know where you're watching from. Let's fill the comments with your cities and countries. Share this story with a friend who loves tales of courage and secrets. And remember, for more stories that touch the heart and ignite the imagination, subscribe and join us for the next adventure.